Alright, for this quick tutorial, we're kind of going to go bowling in 3ds Max. So I could create some bowling pins here. I'm actually going to be a little lazy, and you guys can too. I'm just going to go ahead and, I don't want to create a sphere, let's go ahead and just create some cylinders. Now we'll call this a bowling pin, alright? So I'm going to go ahead and, I got this made. I'm going to go File. Let's go ahead and apply a UVW map to this, though, real quick. So I'll convert it to an editable poly. Okay, in the UVW map, I find Unwrap UVW, hit Control A, open up the UVW editor, go to Mapping, Flatten Map, click OK. So I've been using mapping. Let's go ahead and render this thing. Render UVW template. Modes. Change the mode to solid. Render. Save this. Save this thing. I'm gonna brick. So I've been using the concrete texture. I'm actually gonna use a brick texture for this one. We're gonna call this. What is this? This is just a. This is gonna be for bowling, right? All right. And then this is a JPEG image. Save. Click OK. Close out of this, okay. Hit M, click on the box next to the fuse. Double click on bitmap. Let's go to computer. Double click on the U drive. Find that bowling, click open. Drag this onto there and make sure that we show the material. Now let's go into Photoshop, File, Open. Let's go ahead and open that bowling.jpg. I'm going to go onto the internet really quick. I'm going to find a brick texture. Okay, images. Alright, kind of like this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this image. Come back into Photoshop. Control V to paste. Edit. Whoops, I don't think I copied it correctly. Let me actually get a bigger one too. So I'm going to go to Tools, Size. We're going to go larger than 2 megapixels. This will get a much better image for us. Right click, copy image, come in here, Control V to paste, Control T to transform, hold down the Shift key to do a uniform scale. Let's go ahead and put the bricks over this whole thing. Alright, that looks good. Let's go and apply. File. Save as. Save this thing as a JPEG image. Bowling. Save. Click yes. Click OK. Let's come on into 3ds Max here now. Let's see if that got applied. It did. That looks cool. Go to the 3ds Max. We're going to export this. We're going to make sure that we export it to our U drive. So I click on the U drive. I'm going to call it bowling. Hit save. Make sure that embed media is checked and click OK. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Unity here. Alright, so now we're back in Unity here. I go to Asset, Import New Asset. Find the bowling, gonna import that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and you can use the eye and come over here, use the hand to kind of navigate around. I'm gonna go ahead and drag one of these guys in here. Let's go ahead and use the resize. Let's make it bigger. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the scale right there, and I can actually kind of scale it down a little bit. So it's kind of like that. Alright. Now that I have that, I think I can go ahead and I'm going to drag another one in here. And I'll go ahead and make this one bigger too. Okay. Whoops, wrong way. Scale that up. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and just like scale it down on that axis. Scale it down. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to need to do to both of these is go to Add Component over here, Physics, and we want to do the Mesh Collider on both of these. So if I just add the Physics mesh collider to both of these. When I play the game, so I just hit those. I don't really go through them. So what I want to do is I want to be able to run through these. Okay, so I've added a mesh collider to both of these. I click on Add Component. We go to Physics, and now we're going to add rigid body to these. So we got rigid body. I'm going to go ahead and add the same thing to this one. So you go to Add Component, Physics, rigid body. And you notice in here we got some things. Mass is going to be kind of one of the things that we can mess around with. But I'm going to go ahead and play the both of those things, if you watch, so they just both fell right through the road. The reason they fell right through the road was because if you notice when I placed them inside of the road already. So the road, these now have gravity applied to them. So the gravity was taking effect and they were just falling right through the road. So we need these to be, we need these to be right above the road, but we don't want them below the road, okay? So that's kind of important. So I'm going to click on this guy and move him so it's just right above the road. You can kind of see where it falls through. Same thing with this one. We want this so it's right above the road. Looks like that might be good. All right, now let's go ahead and play. Okay, oops. I got to move these up a little bit more. All right, so now that I have this on here, the other thing that I need to do is we made sure that they're above the road, and then I also, on my mesh collider, I need to make sure that this is convex is checked. Same thing with this one. Go ahead and check convex. Now let me go ahead and I can just move these around. Now if I want, I can increase the mass of these to like 100. Let's go ahead and make these 100. So now that the mass is 100, so go ahead, feel free to mess around with the mass and the drag of these. You can set up 10 of them if you want and do a little bit of bowling. All right, hopefully this has been fun.